In this video, we're going to solve quadratic equations using a new method, a method called completing the square. Now, I'm excited about this because up until now, we've been learning factorization, which honestly, I don't like teaching too much. Although it is quite a useful tool, it's not a tool that will always work. This tool we're about to learn will always work. And completing the square, what I'm about to show you, is what's used to derive the quadratic formula, which will be the next video, and then using quadratic formula, which is another tool that always works, will be in the future. So it's going to look quite complicated, so just be warned about that. But understanding every step of this will help you become a better mathematician. There's no doing sums in your head this time. There's all basic mathematics, basic tools, algebraic tricks I often call them. I often say I'm cheating here, but it's really things we do need to learn if you want to become better at maths, move on to college level, that sort of thing. With that in mind, this is not for everyone. A lot of students will not need this in certain exams, but still, it's an extremely powerful thing to learn. So we're going to learn it. Before I jump in though, we're going to use an identity throughout this, and that is just the fact that x plus a squared is always going to be equal x squared plus 2ax plus a squared. Okay, this is just anytime we see this, we can write this. Anytime we see this, we can write this. You don't have to believe me, I'll actually do it out. This is the same as x plus a multiplied by x plus a, which is equal x, well, it's just equal this. X multiplied by x, x squared, a multiplied by x, plus a multiplied by x, 2ax, a multiplied by a squared. Okay, so we're going to use that identity, and now I'll go fast-ish in this video, mainly because not everyone needs this. So therefore, I'm going to assume you're a higher level student, or you're willing to do the work. If you are a lower level student, you think you are at least, stay watching. You can learn. You're going to have to pause more. You're going to have to think about it a little more. You're going to have to ask questions in the comments. Right. If you want to have a go at this already, I would recommend pausing. Although be warned, this first one's easy. You can use factorization. So I would like you to try this method that you haven't seen yet. So if you are trying it, you might want to wait till the second one. Okay, so the first one, I would love if this equation here, x squared plus 4x minus 21, looked like this. That's my goal. That is what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to use every trick, every tool I have to make, not everyone I suppose, to make this look like this. So what I'm looking for is an x squared. Good, I have that already. I'm looking for a 2ax. A 2 times something times x. Don't quite have that. And then that's whatever something was there squared. So let's see what we can do. X squared plus, if I need a 2 there, how about I just break 4 up into 2 times 2? Something I can always do. Minus 21 equals 0. I haven't changed anything there, but I've made it look a lot more like this. So that one isn't too tricky actually, that trick. X squared plus 2 times 2x. Now what I need now is a squared. This 2 is the a, it looks like. So what I really need is a 4. A squared. 2 squared. I need 2 squared. Well, I'll just put it there. Now here's I love this trick. I remember when I first was taught this, I was like, wait, what, why? And then it clicked. You're always allowed to do it once you just take it away again. I add it in, I take it away. I add 4, I take 4 away. I add 7, I take 7 away. I haven't changed anything. You're allowed to do this whenever you want. 21 didn't go anywhere. That's a great little trick. Adding into squared, taking it away. And we're going to do things like that throughout this. Now, here's the brilliant bit. This now looks just like this identity. We have an x squared, we have 2 times something x, and we have that something squared. So instead of writing this monstrosity, I can write this much neater thing. Minus 2 squared minus 21 equals 0. Now you might see why that was so useful. Instead of all of these x's, I now just have just one x. And that's our goal throughout all of this, to get x equals at the end. So let's clean some of this up. X plus 2 squared minus 4 minus 21. You know what? I don't have to be that simple, do I? I don't have to be that slow. Minus 4 minus 21 is minus 25 equals 0. At this point, you have 2 choices of things to do. You could actually factorize the left. So if there was no equals, we could still factorize the left because we have a difference of squares this time. I won't write it. If you want to think about that yourself, feel free. Ask in the comments if you're not sure what I mean. Have a look back at factorizing quadratic equations special. I think it was 2 videos ago, where we get a x squared, a something squared minus something squared. There's an identity similar to this one. Okay, but instead of that, I have an equals, so it's a lot easier than that. It's x plus 2 squared. I add 25 to both sides. Now I need to get rid of the square, so I get the square root of both sides, plus or minus. Do not forget this plus or minus. Something squared is equal to 25. Well, we know the answer is 5, really. But it could be minus 5. So it's plus or minus 5. So this is x equals minus 2 plus or minus 5. So I take 2 from both sides. Take 2 from this side, take 2 from this side. So our answer is 2 answers, as we expect. Let's get here, x equals, so minus 2 plus 5 is 3. Minus 2 minus 5 is minus 7. Okay, 2 answers. So that's completing the square. I feel this is nearly one of the first things of real mathematics I teach in the course. This sort of thing is done all the time in algebra. The higher and higher up levels you go, we still do manipulations like this. So the secret of all this was to get something that looked like this line. And nobody tells you that. That's just information that's a tool that's put into your toolbox as a mathematician. And you should keep it there for the rest of your life. It will help you solve lots of different maths questions. Okay, again, any questions, put them in the comments, please. I'd be delighted to help. Okay, for this part, you know what, I'm going to change this number. I hope that doesn't annoy anyone. I hope nobody already attempted this. But I'm going to make a 2 here. I think this question will still be difficult, I hope. I'm just doing it in my head, apologies. Yeah, okay, it won't come out any easier. It'll still be a difficult question. Right, I'm just going to do the same thing. Okay, sorry about that. So part 2. I'll write it out again here. 2x squared, and I'd love you to give this a go. 3x minus 2. So I'd love you to pause the video and try to do this. So again, your goal is to make it look like this line. And you can have extra things. These extra things will hopefully just be numbers. Well, they have to be just numbers. Make it look like this with just numbers at the end. Okay, let's start. So my first problem is the 2. I'd like to get rid of that 2. So I'll divide everything by 2. X squared plus 3 divided by 2, x minus 3 equals 0. divided everything by 2. Okay, the next thing, I would love a 2 in front of here. So it's this time it seemed easy, 2 times 2. So this might be a bit trickier to some people. X squared plus, you know what, here's a nice trick. Just put 2 in. 3 over 2. So I can't do that, can I? I can't just multiply by 2. If I multiply this by 2, I have to multiply everything by 2. And I don't want to do that, because I don't want a 2 to appear here. It will ruin it. But I do need this 2. So here's the trick. Divide by 2. Multiply by 2, divide by 2. Remember over here we added by, what did we add on? 4. We added 4, we took 4 away. We multiply by 2, we divide by 2. I haven't changed anything. Any number multiplied by 2 and divided by 2 doesn't change. Because it's like multiplying by 1. But it leaves us, if I put in a little strange looking bracket here, it leaves us 2 multiplied by. So let me finish this there. 3 over 2x minus 3 equals 0. So let me write that again a bit neater. Plus 2, 3 over 2 times 2 is 4. X minus 3 equals 0. This number, 2 multiplied by 3 over 4, is the same as 3 over 2. You can check on a calculator if you want. I've just added a 2. I've multiplied the top row by 2 and the bottom row by 2. The top row by 2 and the bottom row by 2. So we're already close to this. We have an x squared. We have a 2 times a number times x. 2 times a number times x. All I'm missing is this number squared. So just like the last time, we will put it in. X. So what I would love here is just 3 over 4 squared. I want it, so I'm just going to put it in. And I'm going to take away 3 over 4 squared. And minus 3. That's minus 3 hasn't changed. So these two are new. I added one in and I took one away. People are aghast. Students hate this when they first see it. But you can't do this. You can't be putting a 2 in and putting another 2 in. But I can. This is what real mathematics looks more like. Except it's letters usually. We can do these sort of things. These you need to get okay with this if you want to move forward in mathematics a little. Okay, so what have we got? We have something here that looks just like this. Let me put a little box around this guy. We have something here that looks just like this. So let's continue it up. Instead of writing that then, I can just write x plus 3 over 4 squared. Instead of this, I can write this. Because that's what it is. I know what it looks like. But then I can't ignore minus 9 over 16 minus 3. 3 is hard to do 16. So let's put 3, 16, 16. We'll use the same trick we did. I use this trick all the time when I'm dealing with fractions. 16 divided by 16 hasn't changed a thing. Equals 0. X plus 3 over 4. I'll speed up a bit because it's things we've done. Is what's 3 16s? Wow, I like to have a class I can ask questions because some student always tells me what's that, 30 plus 18? 48. So minus 9 minus 48 is minus 57, I believe, over 16 equals 0. X plus 3 over 4 squared is equal to 57 over 16. I added 57 over 16 to both sides. X plus 3 over 4 is equal to plus or minus the square root 57 over 16. That 16 is nice. Square root of 16 is doable. So x is equal to minus 3 over 4. Take 3 over 4 from both sides, plus or minus square root of 57 over square root of 16 is just 4. Notice the difference there where I have the line. Be careful on little things like that. A lot of students make mistakes. Okay, so we have two. Well, let me write the one complete answer you'll often see, plus or minus square root 57 all over 4. Okay, so that answer is acceptable to a lot of people. A lot of exams, a lot of teachers will accept this. Make sure, have a look at your questions. See what they ask you to exactly what they ask you. Something you see a lot in this question would be, give your two answers to the nearest 2 decimal places. So I would want to get 2 answers out. X equals minus 3 plus square root of 57 over 4. And X is equal minus 3 minus square root of 57 over 4. So that would be an acceptable 2 answers as well. Sorry, I just reached it off screen there to get my calculator. But like I said, you might want to get a 57. You might want to get this to 2 decimal places. So let me put this in here. Square root of 57 all divided by 4. So my calculator in fact gives the answer just looking like this. So I just need to change it to decimal places. 1.137, which rounds off to 1.4. Okay, and then the other answer is, let's see, minus 3 minus square root 57 all divided by 4. This answer comes out to minus 2.64. Minus 2.64. That's to the nearest 2 decimal places. So some questions, sometimes they'd answer, this is exactly correct. This is close enough. This is exactly correct for most, for mathematicians really, you'd want this. Whereas this number is close enough for engineers, for science. It's close enough usually. If you want more, calculator will give you 8 decimal places. Should be plenty for anything. Okay, so that's completing the square. No matter what your question is, you'll get an answer out. The only problem is sometimes you might get a minus number here. Plus number here or a minus number here will give you a minus number in your square root. That means the problem is unsolvable with what we have right now. We will need complex numbers to solve that. Or when we start doing some coordinate geometry, or when I'll probably even look at the shape of these questions, how they look when we graph them out, and it would look something like this. It wouldn't touch the x-axis if there was a minus number. In this case, it does touch it. It touches it at 3 and minus 7 for this first question, and would look something like that, and that's minus 21. This other question would also touch it at 1 point something and minus 2 point something. Okay, and next video we're going to do the same thing, except instead of numbers, we're going to do letters. All letters. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And we are going to derive that formula that you probably have all seen, the minus b formula. We're going to find out where it comes from. We together are going to find it. So it's not something a book gives us, it's something we create ourselves. So hopefully you'll watch that and have a good day. Goodbye.